Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we have an account review for SKYROCKET. Now this account is interesting. It's an interesting spot in the game. So we've been playing or have logged into the account for 258 days. We're level 64, 2.2 million player power, not free to play, purchased the revival path, which is a very good deal for those of you who've quit and came back to the game. It is a good thing to purchase if you're a spender. If not, don't even worry about that. We have the Forge Pass, which is also a very good value. The next thing I would recommend if he's a spender, which obviously he is the Daily Gym Pack. Those are like the three things when you're a returning player. If you're going to spend money, these are your best bang for your buck, and you're not going to see anything even really that close to it. Now, with all that stuff aside, let's take a look at the champions real quick. So the champions in this account are also quite interesting. We have Ninja, we have Rhonda, Alexander. We have a lot of the free login champions from a while back. However, we're missing the somewhat newer ones like Sun Wukong, like Adelim. I don't know the other ones. Who's the Rathalos one? Was it Rathalos actually? So we don't have Rathalos. So we're missing a lot of those, but kind of some of the OG login champions, we do have those, which is great. However, there's a small issue you run into when you get so many legendary champions, and that is using your books. So currently, the account does not have many books. You probably, if you're in a similar situation to this account, also probably don't have very many books. So you need to be very careful when booking champions. Brogni, is he good to have books in? Yes, he's actually a great champion to have books in and get this lower cooldown. This is actually the most important thing right here. But a champion like Baron, is he a good champion to have books into? Yeah. But is he going to be a good champion for you to prioritize on an early game account? Absolutely not. He is not going to be. He's a damage dealer. Damage dealers typically can get away longer with not being fully booked than support champions can. Because champions like Artak, for example, AoE HP burn that has a 75% chance of placing is not very good. But when you book him up fully, now it's a 100% chance of placing on a 3-turn cooldown. His A2 now also becomes a 3-turn cooldown, has a 100% chance of placing decreased attack. Those are the things you're bringing him here for. And if those aren't placing 100% consistent, it makes your runs much more sketchy. So champions like Artak, champions like even Rhonda could be argued, if you're running her for the block passes and stuff, could be very powerful. And of course, when booking champions, try to, say Silva Drake's right here, you're trying to book this ability. Not that you necessarily would try to do that, but throw the 2 books in there and see if they can both just hit right there. Sometimes I've noticed that loading up the number of books a skill has missing just magically goes there versus doing them 1 by 1. Either way, it's probably just some tinfoil hat stuff, but ultimately, be very careful when using your books. I noticed that Royal Huntsman has had 2 books, 3 books put into him, which is not great. You'll get books eventually. They'll come back slowly but surely, but Raid is a pain to get your books filled out. And the same thing goes for epics. Granted, it's a little bit less, okay, you make a mistake, your account's going to be struggling for a little while. Epics aren't as bad, but you still want to be very careful when booking epics. Matter of fact, let me see. Your Maneater is not fully ascended, which means he's missing this banner spot, which also he is fully booked. That's great. Well, basically, you don't have to book every skill, right? Like that Maneater, he's missing his A1 booked. That's fine. That's good. You don't want to have books full into this because it's just wasting them. But that's just a quick little pointer there. Be very careful with books and make sure the champion who you're investing into is going to be significant in whatever content you're pushing. And ideally, a champion like Artak, for example, is going to be Ice Golem plus Hydra, and not just a little bit of Hydra, but like game-changing Hydra plus Spider. That's a champion in 3 very impactful areas of the game. He is very important. Your Acrizia, I noticed, is fully booked, as well as your Ninja. These are great champions. The Acrizia, I'm somewhat on the fence about. She's amazing, very, very strong, but even if she's not fully booked, she still hits very hard. She has enemy max HP on every ability, so I don't think you're really missing that much if you didn't have her fully booked, especially since this is just boosting your damage, which isn't going to matter if you're hitting max HP cap anyways, which you're probably not doing. So either way, I would have been on the fence about her, but she is fully booked now, so she's just going to be doing better for you. Ninja was an excellent option. He is very, very important to have fully booked. Same thing with Artak, like I mentioned before. So as typical with my account takeovers, we're going to do this snapshot in time of his account. So here we go. This is his player power. This is account name. These are the areas he's focused on. Well, not focused on. These are the stages that he's currently at in the different areas of the game. With Iron Twins and Sand Devil and Shogun, I think these areas are all baits for new players. Iron Twins, these low levels, you're getting so little coins for such expensive energy. Just don't do it. Unless you can push high, pick up these rewards. These are good as you climb, but don't spend your 6 keys per day. It's just wasting energy. What is this? Say you did 16 times 6. What is this? 16 times 6, 96 energy, almost 100 energy. That could be spent, you know, for 5 dragon runs or whatever. Actually, even basically like 6 dragon runs over there, I guess. So yeah, it's the same energy, of course. So just skip that. Don't even worry about it. Unless, of course, there's like an event. And actually, no, just don't worry about it. Sand Devil and Shogun, very similar. These are some of the best dungeons late game. Early game, they're not good. You can get more of an upgrade, and a lot of you guys can get more of an upgrade farming dungeons, farming these other areas of the game, versus getting an extra 12 speed on your boots or getting an extra percentage of attack on your chest plate or gloves. While those are nice to have, those are not going to be anywhere close to what you could get from actually, you know, getting a new piece of gear that's really good, double or triple roll on that, you throw it on, and it's going to last for a long time. Really, all Sand Devil and Shogun does for a lot of players is makes their gear a little bit more difficult to get rid of and kind of stalls your progress in a way, especially if you're like ascending 4-star pieces of gear or things that really shouldn't be kept to begin with, which I've not seen that in this account, but you could do this. That's just really wasting your time, your energy, your resources, all that stuff. So as far as those dungeons, at least for a little while, I would not even recommend touching Iron Twins or Sand Devil. So now we have potion keeps, dragons, Fire Knight. I actually didn't check the potion keeps. I just assume everybody's always at 20. It's pretty easy to do. So he is at stage 20 of the potion keeps, which is great. Dragon, right here, this is early game players' bread and butter. Dragon's Lair, for this account, Fire Knight's going to be very impactful as well. So these are his times. Overall looking pretty good. Ice Golem, I'm going to talk about how we can push up into that. Minotaur, you can actually solo Minotaur. You have champions to do this for sure. It's just about building the champions correctly. Acrizia, actually, if you have a champion in lifesteal, they can just do it. Acrizia, actually, I wouldn't be too surprised if she could do it, especially if you had some Life Drinker masteries on her. She may be okay. It could be really close. Kind of curious. Let's see. Now, of course, you don't want to just solo farm it, like put your champions in there to get their scrolls and everything. Okay, so she's going to be not quite. We need some better champions to do this, more speed on the champions, but you definitely could build a champion, throw them in lifesteal gear to solo this, and it won't be that bad for you. But for now, you know, do your 2 or 3 champions, and then the 2 champions you're running masteries for in the back, for example. Do as few champions as possible, because you could even pick up some levels on these other ones. But Minotaur, you're doing good. You could definitely cut this down. You have Baron, so eventually you have an extremely fast Minotaur farm. For these other dungeons, I'll talk about some teams you can use in just a little bit. Let's take a look at this snapshot in time a little bit longer. Faction Wars, we're working towards. It's not really something you can rush. Unless you're buying tons of shards, I wouldn't recommend doing that anyways. But there's really no reason to just rush this. It's something you should just focus on in the background as you go through content. Farm it every day, but don't use it. Don't make this your priority. You can start moving gear onto champions who are a little bit lower and put it on those decent Faction War champions, but definitely don't invest too much energy into this or too much effort into this. For the arena, you're in Gold 2 and Bronze 2, which you definitely could get pushed higher, and you will as soon as you finish out your Arbiter missions, which is something I recommend. You're like very, very close to finishing this out. Fusing Relic Keeper is super easy. It's literally just, okay, Relic Keeper right here. You have him, you have him, you have him. Yeah, go ahead, fuse Relic Keeper. Maybe wait for a champion chase tournament to pick up a few extra points for yourself. Fuse Relic Keeper, jump into the next set of Arbiter missions. Actually, to be honest, I would go ahead and do it. I would do it during this champion training tournament. Build those champions, get this going, because you're just delaying progress. Saving for champion chase tournaments is great, but if you're delaying your progress for another week, that may not be worth it for you. When you could basically have Arbiter next week or, like a month or so. Less than a month. So up to you, but Arbiter would be massive. She brings a 30% speed aura in the arena. She brings a big turn meter boost. She brings the only AoE revive champion in his account. So this is an excellent champion to have. Also, kind of worth saving your books for her, potentially. She doesn't need books, but she could be a decent one to invest in depending on how much you use her. Because of her being your only AoE res champion, you could get some good value from this. So let's move into some other area. Okay, no. Before I move into the next area, let me talk about Arena for a second. Arena will become very easy once you have a very strong speed booster. Once you're able to get your nuker to hit even harder, or even able to bring 2 nukers. Now, in your case, you have this team set up, but let's pretend that Seeker is actually Arbiter. So Seeker will be Arbiter. This will be basically the team. We have Deacon, Steel and Terminator, decreased defense on everybody. Seeker doing increased attack. So now you could bring in 2 attack-based nukers, right? So you could have Baron, who's a good attack-based nuker, and then you could throw in Ninja for some freezes across the board as well. Are you going to beat slow Stone Skin teams? No, because you have no strip champion. You could throw in a Madame Saris. If you're fairly close in speed tune, it could be Arbiter, Madame Saris, and then these 2. But I got a feeling you're probably going to struggle more with one-shotting the entire enemy team than you will having to get through Stone Skin. Stone Skin's not super popular in these lower spots, and if you're going against just like one-person defenses, you're going to be okay. Really try to push up into Gold 4, because if you're able to get to Gold 4 or even Gold 5, the enemies here are actually very similar to the enemies where you're at right now, and you're going to be getting the 4 medals instead of the 2 you're getting right now. You're going to be getting a higher bonus in all the areas you're in. So right now you get a 16% bonus, HP, attack, and defense everywhere. But if you push up into 3, 4, 5, you're going to get all the way up to a 22% bonus on the HP, attack, and defense, which is huge. This, of course, all is going to tie back into your Great Hall, which you definitely should be focusing on. For me, accuracy resistance, I think, is always a good idea. Accuracy being, I'd say, probably number 1, even with perception being in the gear or in the game. Accuracy is just so valuable. Accuracy and then probably crit damage. Resistance is good, but you kind of have to build toward it intentionally for it to be especially valuable. Accuracy is great for your debuffers. You have to have it. It makes gearing much easier. And then crit damage is very helpful for your best nukers, which looks like you're already working towards your ninja anyway, so that's a great job there. Let's go ahead and take a look at some other areas. Not harp on that too much. You're doing good. So for Clan Boss, for your fastest possible champion, we'll go over that in just a little bit. For Clan Boss, you're 2 King Ultra Nightmare, 1 King Nightmare, and Brutal. So I do want to take a look at that real quick. With your Clan Boss situation, you're using a budget man-eater team, which is just because you don't have fast enough gear to run basically, I'd say, the most common team, which is Bat Eater. So Bat Eater is pretty high as far as the gear demands, but once you set it up, it's just set it and forget it, and you're good to go forever. It's very easy to gear for, well, if you have the speeds, but you can have your Acrizia in Relentless. She's going to be good in regular content and in Clan Boss, but the team is right here. So this is what the team is made of. It is made of Acrizia, Maneater, Seeker, Painkeeper, Maneater. So it's affinity friendly. It's going to do better if you are able to get some blessings on these champions, but even if you don't, you could eventually push it to 1 key. It's not going to be the easiest because you have no blessings. Your gear is very fresh, but this will be a full auto team. I'm thinking that double Maneater is not full auto. I think you have to do some setup with this budget Maneater team. But either way, Bat Eater is full auto, which is awesome. This is a team I've used for a long time. Now, the speeds are going to be what's a little bit more difficult for you. But to be honest, you could probably hit these speeds right now or get very close to it. 264, 247, 248, 239. If you go to Deadwood Jedi's website, or just type in Deadwood Jedi Bat Eater speed tunes, you can find the tunes for that, and then basically just work towards getting your 1 key Clan Boss team done with this being the build. So that would mean that your Painkeeper would need to be brought up to level 60. So pick one of them, bring them up. Save all your Painkeepers, by the way. Painkeepers are an extremely valuable champion, and they pop up every so often in like a cool and interesting teams. So I would save them. At least 2 of them. Save 2 of them, and you're going to be fine. Throw them in your Faction Guardians, you're good to go. Cold Hearts, you got a lot of them. Daggone, you got a lot of Cold Hearts. How many do we have here? Just imagine if you could empower these things, right? I'd say 2, maybe 3 Cold Hearts is plenty as well. But either way, Painkeepers, you definitely want to be saving those. But build towards that team. You have Seeker already, and he's already at 50, so skip him to 60. And then get your Maneaters, they're already good to go. So basically it's just bringing up your Seeker, bringing up your Painkeeper, getting the gear eventually farmed, so then you can just jump into Bat Eater Clan Boss team. And that should be a focus of everybody, is getting your Clan Boss team online as close to 1 key Ultra Nightmare as you can. So then you can do 1 key Ultra Nightmare, 1 key Nightmare, 1 key Brutal, 1 key Hard. This team will be 1 key on everything full auto. But with the 2 key you currently have, it's still great. It's just going to save you a lot of time if you can just full auto it, not have to worry about it, and then ideally even quick battle eventually, right? So with that, You do currently do potentially 2 key Ultra, 1 key Nightmare, 1 key Brutal each day, which is a good stockpile of resources coming in just all the time, basically. Let's take a look at the next area. But with that said, your Claymore team is solid. You've done a good job building it. That is a good start. It's just something better right around the corner for you. So up next, we have Hydra. Now, I didn't put any numbers here because I don't know how many keys it's taking you to get to the top chest. I would say you're probably doing normal at least. I think you should be able to do this. And then Brutal is going to be like right at the top of your range, I think. Right now you can't do this. I really would be surprised if you could. Hard, you definitely could do because Hard's points are 20 million. You have the champions for this. So when it comes to a team to use in Hard Hydra, this is a very good base. Honestly, this is a very solid team. So what I would do is you're looking for, of course, damage. Crizzy is going to be your damage dealer. She's amazing. You're also looking for something to deal with the head of Torment, which is going to be Shamail. Once he gets to level 60, he's going to be so much better. So another champion you should definitely be investing in. We're going to be looking for champions who have some type of support. Also, increase speed, decrease speed ideally. You're going to be getting Visik soon. Once you get that, it's going to be amazing. Now, for decrease speed AoE, your champion options are kind of limited. You have Tunisia back here, but she's level 50, so you don't have really great options for decrease speed. She's also not booked, and you don't got books to use on her either. So let's see, who do we have for increased speed? Very limited, but Ugo is going to be good for the block buffs. Honestly, the team you have here may just be your best bet and your best option at the moment. Brogni is good, though his buffs can get stolen, which is not that exciting. Deacon is actually probably a champion you should be using in here. His leech plus the boosts of turn meter he gives and the AoE decreased defense is going to be nice, especially if Ugo's gets resisted. I would consider getting somebody like Artak as well because of the AoE HP burn, the decreased attack, these various things that are nice, plus potential for like a provoke set. And then for the last champion, you're really looking for like a revive or an extra support option. The issue with Brogni is if the Head of Mischief steals his buffs and you don't have block buffs up, going to spread them and you're in a bad spot. You have no strip champions, and in this team you have here, you also have no strips. You could make Inquisitor Shamail with some accuracy and have a chance, but it's really not worth that risk. So that Brogni spot, what I would probably be doing is looking for a champion who could have good heals, potentially a Doom Priest. A Reviver is not bad. Sylva Drakes does have a single target decreased speed. She's already level 60 as well. She's definitely not the best Hydra champion whatsoever, but she could potentially be decent for you. A champion like Mithrala could be really good in this spot. An Arbiter could be pretty good in this spot. But if you could just get to a 1-key Nightmare Hydra, 1-key Hard Hydra, that would help you start working towards your Mithrala fragments. I saw that you only had like 6 Mithrala fragments at the moment, which maybe you've just gotten back to the game. This, of course, is a ways away from getting the 100. So what you should be doing right now, and if you're in a similar spot, what you guys should be doing is building as many Hydra teams you can to get top chest. So normal is going to be easy. Normal, you can probably 1-key that with some random champions thrown in. That's no problem. It's 6 million damage, right? So obviously don't use your best champions here. Don't push for crazy high numbers. Just get the 6 million because you're going to be able to pick up the 1 to 2 Mithrala fragments. From here, you're going to get 2 to 3. Now, eventually you get to Nightmare. You can pick up, your 4 to 6, which is amazing. But if you were, say, getting Brutal 3 to 4, so say we picked up 3 there, and then we got 2 there, so we got 5, and say we got 6 each week, just as a low number, well, 100 divided by 6 is going to be 16 weeks. That's a long time. It's what, 4 months, 5 months basically to get Mithrala. That's if you're doing 3 difficulties. It's going to take a while. But if you can at least do 1 difficulty now, that could potentially cut your time down by a week or 2. If you could do 2 difficulties, well, now you have even less time that you're having to do the Hydra stuff to get Mithrala. And of course, besides Mithrala, Hydra is one of the best places just to pick up gear. Well, good, high-quality gear, because you're going to be getting Stone Skin plus Protection. Now, these lower difficulties, we have 6-star, we have 5-star. There's no 4-star, which is great, right? You're not going to get crazy good stuff from these low difficulties of Hydra, though. But you will pick up some nice stuff, which is awesome. Plus picking up some Soul Stones, and as you get higher, Hydra's very good rewards each week for you. It's something that you're not going to see immediate results from necessarily, but when you start pushing into 3v3 and all that kind of stuff, you will 100% wish that you were pushing Hydra. So that is why I've put Hydra at the bottom as one of the things you should be focused on right now. So as we go down this list a little bit, we can see Doom Tower. We'll look a little bit more at the Hydra stuff a little bit later. Doom Tower, you haven't finished hard or normal yet. So I have a link down here at the bottom for Vergus soloing Scarab King. So check this out. It may be worth it for you just to solo Scarab King to continue pushing. You may or may not have the gear at the moment to do so, but if you do have the gear, it's a great thing. Just go ahead and try to push the top, get this avatar, get the shard, and just be on your way, basically. I don't really love farming normal. I think normal is just kind of a waste of time to farm as far as the bosses go. It could be some decent pieces, but your time's probably better spent elsewhere. With that said, you do want to try to do the secret rooms so you can get Archmage Helmet and then Akoth. Both of these champions are very good. And up until Dark Kale, I would focus pretty hard on this. But then after these champions, the rest of them are not that popular, we'll say. So for the general account suggestions, we'll take a look at that in just a moment. Let's move over to the gear section real quick. So your gear currently, before we even dive into the actual gear and the builds of the champions, the gear looks okay. For your level, it's not too surprising. A lot of 5-star stuff, 6-star stuff being worked in. Of course, I want to eventually see the 6-star be much, much more and the 5-star be much less. But overall, it's not bad. That's your accessories. Now your artifacts, this is very similar. A lot of rank 5, not a lot of rank 6. Same thing. I want rank 5 to kind of fade away and rank 6 be the majority. But that's not something you're going to worry about anytime soon. And the stuff you have right here is great. But let's take a little bit of a deeper look. The pieces you're keeping, are they good? The best way to know this is to go, okay, HP, attack, and defense. You're at least selling the flat stats. That's great. Now, you don't always have to sell the flat stats of the gloves and chestplate, because if they have speed on them, you could try to roll for maybe a triple or a quad speed roll. But if you sell them, also it's not a huge deal. It's solely if you're going for speed boosting stuff. So let's see if you have a good stockpile of HP percentage, defense percentage. Okay, a few gloves, not very many. You're using them good. You're using them, okay, nice. Got a good stockpile of these different pieces. Of course, you do want to try to keep them, especially if they have speed. Your pieces on the top, you have overall a decent breakdown of gear, just at first look. You are, however, missing Savage. I have not seen any Savage gear on any of the champions I've clicked through. You have one piece of Savage gear in your account. So Fire Knight is going to be a massive area for you to be farming, because the damage your champions are dealing now isn't even going to compare to what they're dealing when they have Savage gear on. Acrisia is going to get closer to max HP cap. Ninja's going to be hitting a lot harder. So this is something you should definitely be working towards. And similar thing with like Instinct. If you get the Forge Pass for Instinct, it's going to be very powerful for your account as well. Even Slayer gear. You have less AoE champions, but Slayer's going to be powerful also. The Forge Passes and gear forging in general is going to be excellent for your account. Your stuff's good there. As for the forging though, remember if you're using stuff that you purchase to forge, like if you're forging Righteous, make sure you use rank and rarity charms here. You don't want to waste those. You can also, I believe, purchase some in the clan shop every now and then. You have some, well, okay, you don't have that stuff unlocked just yet, but there are some of these charms. This energy definitely should be purchased. The silver should be purchased as well, especially since you're so low in silver. But ultimately, the gear you're keeping seems to be decent at a fairly quick look. Double crit damage. You don't have a lot of double speeds. Double speeds are what you're looking for here. This could possibly go on somebody. You do have a decent amount of gear kept, so you could probably start selling some of this stuff. Like if the pieces don't have speed on it, you can get rid of them. If they do have speed, you can consider rolling them. But I think it really comes down to which champions you're building and if you should keep it or sell it. So if you were to come in here and cleanse, I do really think you could cleanse down to probably 600 pieces and be fine. Though there is the argument to be made, of course, that you're not capped yet. If it's not, stressing you out, making you think you have way too much stuff to deal with, it's not a huge deal, but it would help your silver. And you could definitely cut this down. You could sell off 40% of this stuff and probably not even notice a difference. So when looking at these things, it's basically, okay, the set, what's the set looking for? Accuracy, support champion, speed, accuracy, possibly HP defense percentage. If it doesn't have that, it's probably going to be sold. However, with newer accounts, things like this can be used because this is still good. When you don't have any defense ignore sets, this can help your nukers get built out. So things like this, though, it's not really good. You're really looking for speed. If it doesn't have speed, you're probably not going to keep it, especially on a 5-star piece of gear. But as far as your champion builds themselves, let's take a look at these. What I'm looking for with these is basically going to be kind of these stats I have at the bottom. Now, these are something more you can shoot for, but 225 for supports and then 200-ish for damage dealers. Speed is one of the most important things in the game. If the enemies are about 100 speed, if you're running 200, well, you're going 2-to-1 on them before any increased speeds, decreased speeds, or anything's applied. So 192 is very close. This is a good build overall, except for the attack. The attack is pretty bad. I understand you're pushing the accuracy, so it makes sense, but his situation is kind of like, okay, we have some crit damage and stuff built. We have basically no attack. We don't have a good ring here, which we could definitely get an attack ring leveled up. This one's going to be better at max level for sure. But Ninja's build overall, without being too critical on it, isn't bad. This is what you want to shoot for. A bit more speed, a lot more attack, but this is ultimately what you want to go for. Your masteries are done. Great job. For your Brogni, good masteries. I think War Master is actually the better one for him, though. I think it reflects the more stuff. But we have good speed. We have pretty good HP. Defense is okay. We get that maxed out. Okay, yeah. This is a good Brogni build with the possibility to land the HP burn as well. Your Krizia is in speed. I would love for her to be in Relentless. Now, she has 85% crit rate. I know why you did that because of this. Personally, I wouldn't do that because a lot of times a champion's aura like Deacon is probably going to be better to use in most battles. Whereas a Krizia, the only times you're going to have 100% crit rate on her is when she takes that aura spot. Your ninja already has 100% crit rate, so her aura is basically only being used for her. Whereas Deacon, for example, will be given his extra basically 20 speed to everybody. So increased crit rate auras, I feel like a lot of times are just bait unless you're just using it for like a specific speed tune team or something. They typically just make players build their champions weaker and then kind of mess them up in different content. But other than that, if you get the extra 15% crit rate and you boost this up to 200 plus speed, she'll be doing really good. She could use a little bit more attack, more HP for survivability. Crit damage could be improved. Of course, there's a lot of things you could change. You could obviously put her in Relentless 4-piece. You could put her in Savage, all this kind of stuff, but it's going to take a little while for you to actually get there. But for now, I would definitely recommend 100% crit rate, more speed, go from there. Baron, we're going to skip past him. UDK is very, very slow. Baron also fairly slow, same thing. 100% crit rate. So once again, your Krizia is not doing anything for him, right? Your Silva Drakes, support build, they value speed even more. You don't have to build for crit rate or crit damage, so all you need to be worried about is speed. The reason why you don't have very much speed is because, one, you have 4-star boots. 2, you can almost guarantee none of these pieces or very few of them have speed rolls. So you have 2 pieces with speed rolls. This is giving you all of your speed. If you got a speed set to match here, you could get her to 225 plus speed pretty easily. Keep good accuracy on her as well. And then she's going to go from being good to amazing, basically. Gear can make a champion really start to shine. A champion you thought wasn't that good, you put the right build on them, and they become amazing. Your Tyrant, for example, 177 speed. He's not a damage dealer. He is okay with lifesteal if you have War Master. He can do some cool stuff in Spider, but I wouldn't go lifesteal sacrificing a bunch of other stats. Still, 200 plus speed, speed boots, speed rolls. That's going to be a common theme you find, and basically every video I do is going to be most all of your pieces of gear should have speed on it, because the difference at getting 2 turns per the enemy 1 versus just 1 turn per enemy's 1 turn is massive. If you're going 2-to-1 to the enemy, it's like you have reduced cooldowns because you're cycling through your stuff quicker. It just makes the chances of you surviving and getting through stuff so much higher. So always prioritize speed. And that you can basically take and say, okay, well, if I'm always prioritizing speed, well, this shield, this shield, this shield, this shield maybe, but it's destroy set. It's not a very good set. So like all of these shields, especially 5 stars, can basically be sold. Now, this one, you've already rolled it. You already invested the silver. Got a 13 speed. Maybe you keep that. Maybe you could use it on somebody. If you want to throw it on champions for faction wars, that's a decent idea. But then you also kind of get in the situation of just muling gear. But since you do have pieces already leveled, it's not the worst idea for you to go ahead and just throw it on some champions if it makes sense for them. Pieces like this could be rolled because it could potentially quad roll. If it doesn't go anything into speed, don't hesitate to sell it. You're not rolling in silver. You have a very, very limited stockpile of silver, and rolling pieces like this that's not going to be good at all, actually. But pieces with a little bit of speed that could maybe be decent for you is just not worth it. You really don't need to take the risk. A lot of us don't need to take the risk in upgrading a piece of gear with the small chance it's going to be improved when we have no silver, basically. Because if you sell this for 17,000, that's good. If you were to upgrade it, well, you're looking at a lot more than 17,000. You can take it to 4 and still be profitable. But past that, you start getting into the range of you're losing silver when you do this. So you do have a bit more savage gear than I originally thought, but it's still very, very limited. Now with the next little portion, so that's your gear. So we're talking about your gear. As for the areas you should be focusing on, until you get faction wars farming, at least higher stages, dragon is so important. Dragon falls off quickly, but for now it's very important. So dragon is going to give you more speed gear. More speed gear is going to give you the better clan boss team. It's going to help you push that 200 plus speed in the different areas. So having a good solid dragon stage 20 team is perfect. Remember, for years when the game was first released, stage 20 was the highest stage. So if you're doing this now, you're still going to get good gear. It's not going to be as good as, of course, 10 hard in these higher stages, but this is not a bad stage to farm whatsoever. And if you're doing it quickly, which you are, a minute and a half is not a bad time whatsoever. There's no reason for me to even touch this. So this is a great setup here. Just farm a bunch of dragon. When you're not farming dragon, come to Fire Knight. Fire Knight stage 20, great job there as well. If you were able to keep your champions all alive, I would even drop Sylva Drakes potentially for another Cold Heart if you wanted to speed it up some more, or potentially a Stag Knight. But this again, it's not a bad team. If you're using RSL Helper to run the stuff on auto, this is perfect. You're getting through it all pretty quickly. Matter of fact, Ninja is actually going to be weak hitting, so you could even get rid of him. But stage 20 Fire Knight, stage 20 Dragon's Lair are going to be the perfect ways for you to push and improve the overall gear of your account. And of course, Spider's Den stage 20 isn't going to be hard. If you get Artek up, he's going to be able to burn the waves and make it quicker. But there is currently a dungeon happening that is going to be even better than spider farming for you. This you can get some decent pieces. They're better for you since you're an earlier game player, but Pinpoint being the #1 piece, specifically Pinpoint accessories. So my suggestion for you is going to be farm Dragon and Fire Knight enough that you can build a team to push up to stage 20. If you get to stage 20, it's only going to be 5 and 6 star drops. Dump a ton of energy into this. If you have 100% win rate especially, dump a ton of energy into this. I threw some champions in here that could hopefully do a decent job for you, which is basically just, we could use UDK or just drop it, doesn't really matter. Ninja's going to be questionable, but Inquisitor Shamel, he is going to be very, very useful for this. What he's going to do is he's going to strip the fears the boss places when she swaps forms. So that's going to allow you to then basically see what happens here. Let's kill a Magnart. Just kidding, can't kill him. We're not doing enough damage. But basically, that fear strip that he's doing is going to allow you to keep control of your champions even when she swaps forms. Now, of course, this is not a great example here because unfortunately we're all dying. But if you can get some stuff going on, it could be good. You don't want continuous heals on your champions, not for sure. Oh, that was from the Fellhound. You don't want those continuous heals out there because the boss, 15% of her HP is huge. I had your UDK in here for a little while, and he was just making you heal for way more than I would like to see. So obviously, a bit more AoE damage and you're good. But if you got Inquisitor Shamel to be a higher level to survive a little bit better, the boss swaps, the fears go up, Shamel strips all those fears, boosts your turn meter, and you're looking good. Because those fears can kind of mess your team up, honestly. You're most likely going to have her switch to this form. So it's best to just mitigate whatever you can. And having Deacon in here is actually really good as well. Because Deacon is going to be placing the leech every now and then. I don't think we're going to be able to do this. A1 is very strong from Deacon, though. Especially with... we can't place the leech because they have block debuffs. This is where things get a little bit sketchy. Let's see. Can we go ahead and kill it, maybe? Acrizia is, of course, capped at like 5% max HP. So there we go. 13's done. I wouldn't necessarily farm 13, though. I wouldn't do that. I would try to push to 20. You're not that far from 20. You can definitely do it. Inquisitor Shamel is going to be very valuable. Heck, instead of Ninja, let's try Baron. Baron could be good for you. So do increased speed, our Steel Turn Meter, AoE stuff. But yeah, Stage 20 is going to be the sweet spot for sure. We'll go ahead and use this AoE attack. Does some good damage, kills everybody. Now, Shamel's going to die, right? We already know that. She's going to steal the block buffs, which is something we can maybe just not run, especially if you want Deacon to be, you know, placing that leech and stuff. You would have to have a different increased attack champion. I mean, maybe like a Arbiter. Arbiter would be huge for you. If you could have him strip that, it'd be great as well. But yeah, Arbiter is going to be able to give you that increased attack, bring that res as well. If we get the leech from him, we may actually have a chance. A little bit of high hopes there. But as you build the champions with just a little bit more damage, you're going to be able to clear this without too much of an issue whatsoever. And getting to stage 20 should be pretty accessible for you. And this is going to allow you to start picking up tons of pinpoint stuff. And pinpoint, basically, don't farm Spider. While the event dungeon is on, there's no reason to farm Spider because the event dungeon is going to give you pinpoint gear, which is basically a crazy amount of speed you're getting from it. You don't have any pinpoint pieces I can click on, but if you just put a pinpoint ring and a pinpoint necklace on somebody, you're going to be getting this extra 10% speed, which for Ninja is an extra 10 speed on 2 pieces that could not have speed. So this dungeon is very, very valuable. But for you, you can't focus on it just yet. So spend the next week or 2, maybe 3, depending on how much energy you have, and build up your champions to knock out Dragon, knock out Fire Knight, start getting some better gear on your damage dealers, your support champions, bring up some of those supports that you could use in the event dungeon, and then drop a good amount of energy into that event dungeon. This Call of the Arbiter series, you haven't claimed the rewards yet, but you don't actually have to share anything. Just go here, share trailer, copy, and you can click it. There you go. That's all you got to do. And then it's done. Maybe you already did that. No, you didn't. So we click this. We go share episode, copy. I'm not sharing that to nobody. Just do that, and then boom, you have 100 energy. So if all these were 100 energy, you basically got, what, 1,100 energy there to just dump into a dungeon, dump into an area, and you're good to go. You also have this revival path, which obviously this is not relevant right now. Eventually, when you get Elva, she's definitely worth bringing up to 60 as well. But ultimately, let's see if we have anything else to talk about here. We've gone over several things, some things for you to focus on. Okay, this is the stuff you should be focusing on. Right now, oh, completely missed an area. So you have all this stuff to focus on. I think the best thing, just condensing it all down, okay? I've thrown a bunch of information at all of you guys, and you're probably like, okay, what do I even need to do? Clan Boss, Hydra, Dragon, Fire Knight, Event Dungeon, Arena, Arbiter, all this kind of stuff. This is what I would say to do. Clear and concise. So focus push towards Arbiter. Get her as soon as possible. Missions, guide your gameplay. Hydra, you want to do it all the time so you can get as close to Mithrala as you can. Put in the team that you're going to try to build for Hydra and see if those champions can be used in other areas of the game and build them up. Invest in those champions, make them strong and make them solid. Push Dragon and Fire Knight, farm those as your energy refills so you can get better gear, so you can improve your clan boss. Dragon's going to be the number one thing because you need more speed gear. So more speed gear from Dragon, it's going to help your clan boss. It's also going to help your Hydra. So Dragon's where your energy goes. If you don't have energy, you're going to be working on your Hydra stuff. You're going to be, of course, doing your clan boss stuff. You're going to be doing Curse City. Curse City normal is going to drop some merciless and supersonic gear. It's also going to drop some different different drops. Definitely want to pick these up. So do Curse City. This is extremely, extremely important. It costs no energy. You get 8 keys a day. You can do normal. Normal's not that hard. So do normal. So with no energy, it's Curse City, Clan Boss Hydra, Arena farming. With energy, it's going to be Dragon. Also Faction Wars, of course, with no energy. And then if you don't know what else to do, come in here and start selling off a bunch of your gear. If it doesn't have speed on it, if it doesn't make sense with the set, get rid of it. If it's a speed set piece with no speed on it, it's probably just a sell. If it has speed on it, try to roll it, try to get the double. If it does have crit rate on it, potentially worth keeping, even though it's not going to be, the best damage dealer set. It could be worth keeping for now. But if it's If it's questionable, like a questionable set, you don't really know if it's going to be worth it, just get rid of it. Day set, get rid of it. Start selling stuff so you can start investing in the good pieces. You only have 13 million silver. You don't got a ton, so you want to invest in the best pieces. Now, when it comes to champion training tournaments, which champions are you going to be investing in from there? Well, you have several champions you could be building. Several of the champions I mentioned in the video. We're also going to add on here Painkeeper. She's not going to be first because she's not going to be an immediate boost because she won't be online until your man-eaters are able to be built up correctly. Same thing with your Seeker. But as soon as those champions are able to be built up correctly, then you can start getting these two taken up and ready to go. Make sure you have enough books, save books for him to book up both these champions fully. But Artak is going to contribute to multiple areas. Spider, Ice Golem, as well as Hydra. Shamael, same thing, multiple areas. Ugo is going to be crucial for Hydra, basically. And she's very good for the faction as well, so faction wars. So things to do, broken down right here. Got the Reddit link down at the bottom. If any of you watching the video would like to have a takeover, a review like this done for your account, just click the link down below. I'll also leave that there for you guys to check it out, get signed up, send me a message, all that kind of good stuff, get connected. But with Ice Golem, the last thing I want to mention, it's very easy if you just bring an Artak. I'm not going to go into it too much. You can do Ninja. He'll be fine as well. This is a very good dungeon a little bit later. This dungeon is one of the best dungeons, but I think it's like 2 or 3 steps above where you are right now. It's where you start needing Cursed and Provoke and Hydra to push up high damage. Right now, you're just worried about getting top chest. You're not worried about a new personal best. Like, you know, breaking records for your account, whatever it may be. You're not worried about the best Hydra Clash score. You're just worried about getting the top chest, down on the Hydra, doing that. This is game-changing when you're a few steps ahead of where you are now. So while I love Ice Golem, it's great, it's not for you just yet. The event dungeon, while it's on, you definitely want to take advantage of this. So if you decide to purchase any energy, save it for this. Stage 20, if you dump a few thousand energy into stage 20, a few 10,000, whatever it may be, the sooner you can get to 20, the better it's going to be. 20 is not going to be that hard, especially with the champions you have. I would definitely consider getting Brogni out of there, though, because of that block buff's being stolen. It may just make the run harder. Speaking of, we actually have Seeker who could do increased attack, don't we? Though I don't know what his speed's at. Let's see. So you have him for Arena, and Arena's not really worth diving into too much right now because as soon as you get your Arbiter, she's going to slot into your Arena, no problem. Okay, here we go. Increase attack. We're going to hit the balls here a little bit. And then AoE, boom. We'll go this AoE hit there. So we have no Brogni. So we don't have the shield either. But it's not going to have block debuff. So, okay, obviously we have no shield. So we survive a little bit less time. Speeds are slow as well. There's a give and a take there. He does have that protected shield, but he brings the block debuffs. So you can mix up the team, get something good in here, kill the boss quick. Enough damage, you'll just one-shot the boss, basically. Either way, that is the takeover. That's my suggestions. Hopefully that helps you out, get you pointed in a good direction. Overall, your account is looking really solid. Like, for an early game account, you're doing well. You're pushing through the missions. Let's go ahead and get Arbiter as soon as possible. Unlock these, mostly just for the free stuff. Keep on top of your forging stuff. Make sure you do plenty of Arena. Do your forging, rank and rarity, get all this stuff. It's mostly just a slow and steady grind here. You can't really rush this. It's just making sure you're doing faction wars all the time. Speaking of, do you have good glyphs? Let's see. Glyphs are extremely... Okay, yeah. You look like you're doing your faction war stuff. For the level that you're at, having this glyph, having even 5-star speed glyphs is pretty awesome. So good luck. Hopefully that helps. Let me know if you have any questions. If any of you guys watching would like a takeover, click the link down below. Get signed up. I would love to help you out. So thank you all. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Hopefully maybe this gives you a little bit of help in your account as well. And I'll catch you all in the next one.